Hello, and
Wow.
welcome to the tale of when a leprechaun got bashed for a second time. So here we are, it's heavyweight MMA. Bert is back from a 2-week hiatus and very happy to be talking about the next fight between Poirier and McGregor. Now, before we kick off, I'm going to play a little bit of footage just to remind us what happened in the last fight. I'm not really going to talk on it, just watch. So you can see McGregor's throwing his money punch. He's almost hit him, but Poirier is good at staying out of distance, just out of distance. And then he's just moving in for the kill. It's all over. And he gets taken out.
Yeah, he got tagged by that shot. So, McGregor threw that 3 times. He went that straight 3 times. He whiffed it twice, and then the third one connected. Poirier's getting hit. He might not have dropped, but he's getting hit. And he's going to get hit again.
Yeah. So that's the thing. He is going to get hit. But what I thought we saw was, in the first fight he got hit as well and he went down. But this time at a heavier weight, I think he can take his punches. I think that Poirier can take his punches. He's proven it. And he's also proven that he can get out of the way a little bit better than maybe before as well.
I think we're being deceived a little bit because Conor fought so differently against him the second time than the first time. And so he could see the shots coming, so he could brace for him to where in the first fight, because Conor was so much more like versatile with his striking, I think he didn't see shots coming.
Yeah. So you would say and McGregor as well fought in a completely different style than he did in the first fight. The first fight he was super long stance, throwing kicks, etc. And then this time he, for some strange reason, just decided that he's going to shorten his stance, stand straight in front of him and try to knock him out with hands.
Yeah, it seemed like he was doing a straight boxing match with a guy that was kicking him. It just didn't make sense. He still had a wider stance, but not as wide as the first one. So it was a little bit more narrow. But then he goes into this boxing strategy and completely abandons kicks in the entire first round. I don't think he threw any. And then the second round, he threw like 2 at the very beginning and then abandoned it again, just a straight striking or straight hands. Very weird to me.
Yeah, like he said that he was going to knock him out in the first round. So he was just taking up, that was his idea, is I'm just going to hit him again and he's going to fall down and the fight's going to be over. But yeah, he just negated any of those kicks and that nice distance management that he normally has. And he did it slightly in the second round, but still didn't quite continue it and ended up getting tagged and hurt. You'd say Poirier looked very good though, very good head movement, looked rugged, looked like he was there for the distance, right? He looked like he was there to go a full 5 rounds of brawling. Not McGregor looked like he was there for 1 round and Poirier looked like he's there for 5,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, again, I think it's a little bit deceiving. It's hard to say. I think Poirier looked good, but with the style that Conor was fighting, it was so basic and so one-dimensional. I think a lot of fighters might look good against that look. So it's hard for me to really know. It just seemed very out of Conor's character. So,
well, everyone so far, it looks like people are thinking that McGregor is going to take it. He's actually the favorite in this fight, strangely enough, which I don't really understand why. Because from my perspective, that fight, he just destroyed McGregor. He destroyed him with the kicks. He destroyed him with hands. He took him down as well. I feel like the Poirier of the last fight is so vastly improved from the Poirier of the previous fight that I find it hard for me to think that McGregor is going to be able to, I know he's got kicks, whatever. I feel like it's going to be hard for him to move to another level where he's going to overtake Poirier.
Okay. So do you want me to enlighten you then and tell you how he will do that?
You do that, but
okay. So here's what he's going to
take him down.
He's going to shoot a running double from the other side of the octagon. No, he's going to he's going to widen his stance back up, and he's going to open up with kicks. He abandoned the kicks against Poirier for the first in the second fight, and it completely changed everything. Poirier didn't have to worry about anything. He's just worrying about the striking, and Conor's throwing these same combinations, trying to get that knockout punch, and he landed a couple of them. But I feel like Poirier feels them coming. So what he needs to do One, Poirier is not going to land these strikes if Conor's stance is wider. And I know you're going to say a wider stance, he's going to get kicked, but not if Conor's lighting him up with kicks the way that he was in the first fight. So he opens up with that, a spinning kick or a hook kick and then a spinning kick in the first fight, gets him backing up. I think he does something like that again, just heavy on the kicks, cuts his hands by like 50% and then like 25% more kicks, and then stays on the outside. Because of his wider stance, where he won't be able to get on the inside and land those same shots. And then I think Conor can control the fight that way. But I do think Poirier has more ways to win, but only if Conor abandons his style.
Yeah, I agree that he should convert back to what he was doing before, keep that range and start working from that kick range exactly to take himself a little bit out of danger from hands and also from those calf kicks. Just work that range and then work on, he's so good with distance, work on moving in and out and smashing him when he can, you know. But the thing I think is that when you look at Conor, he's shown a few times now that he doesn't have a will once it gets past, once things start turning in the direction of the other person, he doesn't have the will to continue. It looks that way anyway. Like he looked like he kind of just folded. I'm sure his calf's hurting, etc. But compared to some of the other fighters that you see getting smashed in the calf, he seemed to fold a little bit more willingly than a few of the big name fighters, right?
I mean, I want to say that's not true, but unfortunately, I don't have any evidence to support my opinion. So, I mean, it does seem like he gets in a tough place and he finds a way out. And I don't know if it's maybe he's extremely hurt. He was really immobile against Poirier, but he started the fight that way as well. His movement was, he was very stagnant when they first engaged, and then he just stayed that way. And then he was saying, okay, by the second round, my legs were dead. I couldn't move. But he wasn't moving to begin with. So it's hard to know, like, were you really hurt that bad or were you mentally struggling and, you kind of found the way out. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say.
You saw him against Diaz too. Like he was getting beaten up and he shot a double and kind of gave up his neck. He didn't try and fight the hands, didn't try and do anything, right? And probably, I guess against Khabib, he did put up a very good fight until that point. But when that point came, he kind of seemed to give it rather than to fight for the end, like to keep going and to win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're basing it on the standards of professional fighters we're used to watching, I'd have to put him pretty low. But obviously, people will say, "Oh, I'd like to see you do it." Well, I'm not a professional fighter, so I can't even make it to the gym on. So,
yeah, no, we have to probably clarify that we're talking from looking at top level professionals fight. We're not judging them as a normal person because obviously, even stepping in with Poirier or stepping in with McGregor is a massive feat in itself, and to say that he's giving up against the best in the world where he's getting totally hurt and brain damaged and whatnot. So it's not really like giving up in a way. But yeah, if you compare it to some of these hard edge guys out there, maybe he is giving up.
Yeah, just comparing it to the top of the top of the top who's in the UFC and the wars that we see, it does seem like he's kind of lower on that totem pole.
Like, did you see Jimmy Crute, the killer Aussie, the other day? His foot's numb. He can't even stand on his foot. He's trying to walk around. He keeps falling over and he still wants to fight. When the ref calls it off, he's like, fuck. Like he doesn't want to give up at all. Compare that to the same sort of thing where you're looking for a way out, kind of, giving up.
I mean, what was it? John Jones' toe was, ripped off almost all the way when he was fighting Chael Sonnen. Broken arms. Just who is that? Forrest Griffin finished with a broken arm. A bunch of guys have finished with broken arms, broken hands, all kinds of stuff. So
exactly. Yeah. What was that guy that fought the other night? The guy who broke his arm as well.
Yeah,
Jacare. Yeah. So Jacare, you heard about it? Obviously, in a jiu-jitsu match where he got his arm broken, he tucked it into his belt and continued and won.
Oh yeah.
Just crazy, man. This is crazy.
Different level of toughness. So comparing Conor to that, it seems like he has a bit of a problem.
Yeah. But you sound like you're swinging towards the Irish Leprechaun to take the win. Is that correct, Bert?
I am, because I think if he fights his fight, which, and you can say this about any fighter, like, well, if he
Game
fights
of
his
inches.
fight.
It's a game of inches.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, this is more true for him, because if he really does his thing and he keeps range with his kicks, he's like, I just feel like he can control the fight and then cut back on his striking. It'll be more unexpected when he lands. I feel like that he can dictate the fight, but the problem with Conor is I think he gets caught up in the fight a lot, and then he rushes in, and either he gasses himself out or gets like mentally demoralized when he can't finish, and then things start to slip away from him. But he's so dominant at the beginning usually. So
Yeah.
except for the last fight.
So my pick is, anyway, I'm picking Poirier. I don't know why everyone's looking past him. I think Poirier is going to be confident. He knows he can win. He knows he can hurt him. I think he's going to potentially look for the same sort of thing, look for low kicks to start, engage in the punching, because he took some big punches and continued, and he hurt McGregor with his own punches. And I think he'll either finish him again through attrition by knockout, or potentially hurts him and then finishes with some sort of choke or something like that. That's my take on it. I'm thinking Poirier, thinking bet the house on it.
I think you're a little bit on drugs, but it could definitely happen. I think if he can lure Conor, so one of two options, and they're completely opposite, but I was thinking about this. One, if he
take him down,
heavy pressure, okay, and uses the cage like they did a little bit in the first fight, because Conor, even when he got control on the cage, he didn't break off. People say, oh, well, he was controlling no. Even when Conor got away and he had hands free, he could have pushed off and went to the center, but he didn't. He stayed in the clinch up close, where Poirier has the advantage to do that dirty boxing. So he can do that, or if he can back up enough and bring Conor into him and get Conor acting more aggressive, then the takedown will open up, or just engage more when he gets him moving forward more. Then he can close the distance, easier to land strikes inside of his range. But those are two opposite things. But I think either one of those, like I said, I think Poirier does have more ways to win, but I think it's up to Conor and whether or not he fights the way that is smart, like me. I'm a very smart fighter.
So what's you're picking kind of, what are you picking? You must, because it's him, you must be picking a KO in the first or second, is it?
Hey man, I'm going beginning of round 3. No, and a round 2. Conor might be upset if it gets to the 3rd round, and then things might change.
Okay, so Bert's picking end of round 2, Conor gets the KO. I'm picking Poirier probably later rounds. I'll say 3. I'll say 3 as well. I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. Anyway, 3 to 5. Poirier gets by KO, or if he hurts him, he might move in for a DAS or something like that and take him out. So then the winner of this fight will get to go and get strangled dead by Oliveira. So that'll be kind of interesting too. I'm thinking that Oliveira will take both these guys out, to be honest.
Against Oliveira, I would definitely say Poirier's got a better chance for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Bert. He lost to Chandler, so it didn't matter.
That's true. The American wrestler got done dead by the Brazilian grappler.
That was a 1 in 20 chance.
Anyway, all right, Bert. Finally, thanks for coming back and spending 10 minutes with us. See you next time.
Peace out, Alms.